Thurman Bear was a member of the Lac de Flambeau band of Lake Superior Chippewa Indians and the Shawnee Nation. As a Native American activist, Bear often advocated for Native American rights and the preservation of their customs and traditions. In the 1970s, Thurman hosted a radio show on WDET-FM in Detroit called Indian to Indian. On his program, he highlighted issues that were important to the Native American community. He also promoted powwows and Indian music and cultural events. But many of his listeners may have been unaware that Thurman was himself an accomplished native dancer, and when in full regalia, he was an inspiring presence. In the 1970s, some of his like-minded friends interviewed Thurman on film and recorded his personal views. Bear did his utmost to achieve good things for his people, and we hope to preserve his thoughts and values. But life, as it often does, intruded, and sadly the interview was not edited at that time, and ultimately the film materials were lost. Thurman Bear passed away in 2003 at the age of 59 while dancing at a powwow. Happily, the missing film was recently rediscovered, and now we have reassembled some of Bear's conversation from many years ago. And we feel that his comments from the past are as relevant now, possibly even more so, and that his conversation fits well with our theme on American Voices.
I want to maintain Indian culture. I want to maintain Indian languages, the dancing, the singing. And I always get called separatist for that. But yet I hate separatism. I believe we're all from the family of man. And God made us all different, not only the four colors of people, but each one of us is different. So to really preach separatism, and maybe you've got millions and millions of different races. But I prefer to think of it as, like I said, the family of man, the brotherhood of man, whatever you want to call it. There are certain values that each one of us can bring. Values that will spell out survival. Indians do have a definite culture. More and more Indians are becoming aware of what this culture is all about. It's not all beads and feathers and bells. The entire way of life for Indians is a way of life. It brings religion, education, language, singing, dancing, communicating, existing, surviving. All that rolled in together. There's no specialization. A good number of Indians are making it through the educational system by a lot of perseverance, a lot of, I suppose, compromise on their parts. It took me 10 years after I got out of high school to get enough nerve to tackle the university. What Indians are doing now is wanting and taking the responsibility, the education of their own children. The educational system, the way it stands now, leaves Indian parents about 2 hours to teach their children Indian values and Indian language and culture. What we want to do is take the kids out of school and give ourselves that 8 hours to mix this, to bring the religion, the philosophy, the history, from an Indian point of view, along with the 3 R's, the reading, writing, and arithmetic, that we realize is necessary for existence in society today. So this is another solution, taking the education, the rights, the responsibilities, and the duties of our children's education into our own hands. Part of the movement is dealing in a very spiritual, very religious nature. The Indians are going back to their own way of praying. So that's how the problem of Christianity is being solved. The educational problem is being solved in a different way. The existing school system is a good school system. If your culture is American, your philosophy is the Protestant ethic, and your history began in 1492.
Imagine watching John Wayne movies, westerns, cowboys and Indians on TV, and being taught you're the bad guy.
But that's not true for Indian children, Indian people. Our culture is certainly not American. Indians do have a definite culture. And we're at the point in history now where survival is the name of the game. To adopt Indian thinking, you have to throw away a lot of the aspects of the Protestant ethic, the spirit of capitalism. These things aren't good for Indian people, this Indian country commonly called America. I better elaborate a bit more on Indian religion. Indians believe and pray a different way for almost every tribe. There's the Longhouse religions. There's the Native American Church. There's Medewan, the Yuwipi ceremonies, the Sundance, some of the Pueblo animal dances, snake dance, deer dance, the Pueblo Kiva societies. All these are their ways of praying. All these were called pagan and heathen for years and years. Some of the basic teachings of Christianity are followed by Indian people. The whole thing of respect for your brother, respect for your brother's dream. I've talked about that. People have told me I've had a very Christian attitude. In the basic fault of Christianity today and in missionary times is not Christianity, but what we choose to call churchianity. See, churches are tax exempt. Churches are corrupt. Churches are out to keep that collection plate moving and filling. Is all the preaching done inside of a building in one day, 1 hour of that day, isn't going to make you go to heaven. The land is our mother. And the land doesn't belong to us, as we belong to the land. This vast waste that's going on in America now, and not only in America, throughout the whole world. The people are just wasting things. taking more than they need, and whenever they don't need, they discard or sell. There's a profit motive in everything you look into. There's even people in urban areas who deal in garbage. They charge you to haul your garbage away, and then they charge the guy that they take it to, they charge him for landfill. So there's the profit motive in every aspect of capitalistic American life. People have always wanted to make something, to profiteer. I guess history was always to try to accumulate, as the Protestant ethic is to always have more than you need, to have a little held back in reserve. Well, the earth doesn't have that much to hold back in reserve. There's just the resources are being used up, and they're not being used wisely. This whole concept of Earth Mother, the Indians have had this concept for thousands of years. And the only thing we want is to utilize the land, the resources, for what we need. No more, no less. And if you do take more, then what's necessary for your own survival, you should at least try to return something that belongs there. And I can't sit here and say that Indian values should be taken completely and all white values thrown out. We're too far along in history to try to do that right now. So I think a mixture of the two values with a very, very heavy lean towards a lot of the Indian philosophies, and the main one being respect for yourself, respect for your brother's dream, Mother Earth, and all living things on Earth. This respect has to be there. If there's no respect, you have no survival. And we're at the point in history now where survival is the name of the game.